Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2, and I'm back with a brand new episode, part 7 of What If Naruto was a seal master that created his own Sage Mode. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new series over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Was the Monkey King's Son Wukong. And enjoy that, guys. And remember, for new, yes, I indeed have 3 more channels, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and check out the link and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So the last spot we left off, Harrison tried to make it clear his reasons for not telling Naruto who his parents were. However, Naruto was already fully aware of that, and he held no ill judgment against it, not to mention Jiraiya being his godfather. He really held no judgment or much anger towards either of them. He was rather calm, as he did not really focus on that. He had other things to focus on now. After saving Ino and after the whole debacle, the both of them had spent some time together after she left the hospital. She was doing just fine as Naruto returned back to his training, having a lot to do before the finals. While that was going on, Violet came face to face with her brother, her exact opposite, as he had much darker features. After all, her name was her color, so if he was to go off of that, he would be dark. They started to talk, as Violet was trying to understand his reason and his purpose for doing this to their father. However, he ended up capturing her, using her weakness not to act right away on her, as he trapped her in a sphere of darkness. With that said and done, he got to work. Naruto was rather concerned because he was getting nothing from Violet, and he could not enter her realm. And he was getting nothing, he started to become concerned and worried about her health and her well-being as well. When the finals finally came around, the matches started to take place. There was a match between Naruto and Neji as they went down there. It started out rather easy as people believed that Neji would come on top. He was known as a prodigy of the clan, and he was just a child. So yes, they believe he would come out on top. However, as the match proceeded, they realized they underestimated Naruto greatly. Not only was he faster and stronger than they thought, his mind was incredibly powerful. Yes, it was his mind that had him on a different level. And not just that though, his Fuinjutsu, as Naruto was able to use seals to his advantage. Not only was he able to create a seal that was able to disarm the Byakugan, he was able to create a sword that was able to damage chakra system without cutting the flesh outside but harming the system inside. The Hyugas were rather stunned by when Naruto was able to deactivate their eyes by using a forceful amount of chakra. After all, that would be a game changer against them, and it was rather concerning as well. As both Naruto and Neji had a talk right after the battle came to an end, Naruto proving to him that there was no such things as fate. Hayashi figured that it's time that he spoke to his nephew. With that, the rest of the exams took place. As Sasuke finally arrived and faced off against Gaara, their battle was epic and fast. In the end, Sasuke Seemed like he was about to come out on top until the invasion began. Yes, an invasion took place within the village. As Sasuke went after Gaara, Naruto headed out there as well. Ino and Sakura decided to follow, to help them if they need help. Upon arriving out there, they saw as Naruto and Sasuke took on Gaara, a battle of epic proportion took place. While Gaara was fast and strong, however, the two of them together started to beat the living hell out of him. He did not stand a chance, as he was losing until the girls arrived. Gaara saw his opportunity and went after Ino. As she pushed Sakura out of the way, Ino got caught by the sand and squeezed, as it crushed down on her as Naruto freed her. However, it seemed to be too late, as he couldn't feel a heartbeat, not a pulse, nothing. However, her body had simply went into shock, and her heart rate had slowed down to a level that he wasn't even focusing on. But by the time that Sakura found out about that, Naruto lost his mind. Dark was now in control, not Violet. Immediately, all the summoning animals around the world that were proficient in sage art felt it, all of them. As a massive toad that was alongside Jiraiya decided to hop over to the scene, Naruto features changed, giving him a rather dark look as he took Gaara on and beat him senseless. Even while transformed, the One-Tails stood no chance against the power that Naruto had. He beat the thing until there was nothing left to beat. His intention was to kill Gaara, but Violet exploded out, showing how great her power was. However, in order to do so, she had to use majority of her power, which would take a long time to recover, so she needed a host. She flew directly into Ino and helped her body heal as well. Her protective aura healed Ino, but in the process they rushed towards Naruto and stopped him to not let the darkness consume him. They set him free. As he screamed and the darkness left his form, he collapsed on the ground out like a light. Jiraiya arrived. That was when Gamma Hero swallowed Naruto with his tongue. As he poofed away, taking Naruto back to the summoning realm, Ma and Pa saw the boy. Gamma Hero told them that this was him. They said that they had no choice. The boy has to die. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across to the place, check it out for yourself. So we jump right into this brand new episode. Let's begin now guys. This is nonsense. It was the voice of Inoichi Yamanaka as he looked at his daughter who was not listening to him. I have to go, Dad, she said, looking up towards her father as she was ready to leave. I am sure that Jiraiya-sama can handle this on his own. Your efforts are not needed during this, with everything already happening to the village. You being out there with a current attack is very dangerous. 1. You said it yourself, Jiraiya of the Sannin will be by my side. And besides, even if he's not, I'm not alone, she said. Her eyes were glowing purple. And I'm not arguing with you, Dad. He saved my life when I was in trouble. He risked everything to save me. It's my fault why he's in this condition and why they took him because of that power. Because he thought the worst had happened to me and he lost control. And now he's stuck there and we have no idea what is going on or what has happened to him. If there's something I can do, I have to do it. As he looked down towards his baby girl, who was standing up to him. Meanwhile, outside, Jiraiya stood there. Ino's mother was giving him a critical gaze. Take care of my little girl. I will make sure that she's fine, Jiraiya said. As he had to ask, I understand why her father is so upset, however. You seem rather okay to let her leave. Granted, I will be able to protect her. You want to know why I'm not concerned or why I'm not pushing against this? It's simple. I've known for the longest time now that Ino liked that boy. As much as people say, as much as they behave around him, that boy is one of the nicest young men I've ever come across. He might not show it a lot, and he also seemed to stick by himself most time as a loner, but I saw him on several occasions, especially when he was with my daughter. He's kind and gentle and friendly. Not to mention he saved her life. We all do stupid things when we're young. However, in these times it helps us understand what the future is going to be like. And I know how Ino feels about him. And I will not stop her from saving his life. If it's the only way to bring him back. He saved this village. Not once, but twice now, she said. Jiraiya looked at the woman, having no idea that she thought that way about Naruto either. When Ino finally came down. Mom, I know what, it's okay. She hugged her beloved girl. Go and rescue him. He needs you right now. Ino smiled as she hugged her mother back. Inuichi stepped forward to Jiraiya. The man was rather serious and told him to keep her safe. Jiraiya promised that he would. It's been 2 days. 2 days since Naruto was taken. Yes, 2 days since the invasion came to an end. Hiruzen Sarutobi drew his final breath during the invasion and died. However, Jiraiya had been trying non-stop to get to Mount Miyaboku by reverse summoning, but his last few requests got him a small toad, who promptly informed him that the boy would be executed. The Sannin was shocked, having no understanding of what the hell was going on. They would give him a proper trial to test if he was fit for this world. The proceedings will take 5 days. However, after that he would be put to an end. They knew how the Sannin felt about this matter, but it was not something that he could get involved in. It would take normal people a month to get to Mount Miyaboku by normal traveling, and that is for those who even know where the place was located. So Jiraiya would not reach there on time, stopping Naruto's execution for the reasons that he was still not fully aware yet. However, he knew it had to do with the energy that Naruto was producing. Violet had filled him in on who that was. She called him Dark, and he was her brother. Also Naruto's son as well, which sound rather weird. However, Violet was the one that came up with a solution. It's been 2 days now and her power has not fully returned, so she was still residing inside of Ino. As Violet had healed Ino to 100%, and she knew how to get there because of her link with Naruto. However, because of the place that he's currently placed in, it was not simple as teleporting there. The nature energy there was a direct clash against her. Fortunately, she was inside of Ino at the moment, so the effects wouldn't be as dire. But it didn't matter what it takes. She wouldn't allow them to kill her father. They had to do this quick. The village was in need of a Hokage at the moment, as the council was currently running things and keeping things going. As Jiraiya knew that they would need his help in achieving the next Hokage. Ready? Jiraiya said. As Ino's eyes glow as Violet took over. Let's rescue my father, she said. Violet, start a charge. As a purple lush of energy swelled from inside of Ino, Violet took a deep breath as she screamed. It seems like she tore open space itself as a rift appeared in front of them. The rift that led to her father's energy. She could feel it, so she simply connected the two spaces. She walked forward as Jiraiya went behind her as they jumped through. The both of them landed as they found themselves on one of the many cliffs in Mount Miyaboku. They started to feel tremors as two massive toads appear with their weapons. Jiraiya, one of the giant toads said, "What are you doing here? I've been trying to get here for the past 2 days to understand what the hell is going on. You shouldn't be here." "And you," the other toad said, looking towards Violet. Violet seemed to tense up in Ino's body like she was about to fight. However, the Sannin stepped forward. "Stop! I just want to speak to Gamamaru, Fukazaku and Shima as well. We can sort this out. There is no need to kill the kid." You don't understand. We've passed the point of reason. However, we will take you to them. They looked towards Ino. You as well. Their intention was not good. Granted, these were toads that were not originally bad. However, for the sake of reality and nature, they would do whatever it takes. Ino once again regained control as they walk, making their way, as Violet was preparing herself on the inside. When they finally arrived, as usual, Gamamaru sat on his throne. However, Gamamaru was fully awake. This wasn't normal. Usually he was sleeping and out of it, but no, he was awake. Both Ma and Pa stand on his opposite sides as they look towards Jiraiya and Ino. Jiraiya, Gamamaru said, Chief Elder of the Toads. As he looked down towards him, I have told you about your role in this world and about the sacrifices that you will have to make. And I'm afraid this is gonna have to be one of them. I don't understand. Jiraiya said, just what exactly is going on? Why are you insisting on executing Naruto? It was a few years ago. There was a disturbance that I felt. I was not sure exactly what it was. However, the more time went on, the more I felt this disturbance grinding against nature itself. The two were opposites and continuously clashing against each other. That girl that you stand beside, the energy is flowing inside of her. However, unlike the other one, hers is much more contained. The other one is mass for destruction and chaos. And the two of them are one. If there was a way to separate it, we would have found it, but there is not. That girl and the other one that we recently felt, it caused an imbalance in the world. Haven't you noticed trees around your village? Even around here? Just have a look. Jiraiya had not been focusing on those things, but on further inspection he realized, as the grass was, it was dead. That boy has created something that no ordinary human, no one has ever been able to do. The very existence of natural energy was the occurrence in the universe. The blend of matter together. But that boy has somehow used his mind to create a force of energy that possessed great threats to nature itself. If this is continued to happen, not only will the world end, however, all life through the ongoing universe will cease to exist as this energy spiral out and conquer everything and everyone. I won't do that, Violet suddenly spoke, drawing their attention. I know what you're worried about, and I felt it as well. I've tried my best to stay away from you and your energy. But now you're holding my father as a prisoner and threatening to execute him because of something that my brother did. I don't care if we're connected or not. My father is not responsible. He doesn't deserve any of this. So you will release him, she said. I'm afraid we can't do that, Gamamaru said. Even if it's not intentional, your very existence is causing problems. And given what occurred 2 days ago, we now know more than ever that if this is to happen again, and these two energies collide, because as much as you believe that you and the other one are not one in the same, your power are really similar. However, his is simply more tainted, but he also piggyback off your strength as well, and you do the same for him. So you are connected, and you all are connected through that boy. And if these two energies clash and combine, the backlash will be devastating for everything and everyone. One life is not worth billions or trillions. The boy has to die. Enough, Violet said. I came here because I thought we could talk this out and see reason, but you're refusing to listen to me. And you believe that I'll simply stand by and allow you to kill my father. Well, you're sadly mistaken. I'll kill each and every one of you, she said, her tone turning dark. When it came to her father, there was nothing that she wouldn't do. Suddenly, she dropped to her knees and started to scream. You came to this place believing that you can overpower us in here after your power has diminished so much. Gamamaru said, "What's going on?" Jiraiya shouted, seeing Ino in pain, remembering the promise that he made. As I said earlier, her very existence is a clash against the natural nature. She cannot. None of them cannot be allowed to live. And her only way of getting rid of them is to take that boy out. Jiraiya, this is one of the many sacrifices that you will have to make. There are millions of people alone on this planet. Do you wish to see everything, including your own existence, wipe away for one boy? Jiraiya boy, do the right thing, Fukazaku said. The choice is difficult, Moss spoke up, but it's something you have to do. We've been with you for a long time now, and we understand the efforts and the struggle that this will have to take, but this is not something that you can stop. Don't listen to them, Violet said. You can't allow them to kill Naruto. Stop them. As Ino's body crashed on the ground, as if feel like the entire world was weighing down on her, crushing and snuffing her out, making her weaker and weaker and weaker. As she was fading, both hers and Ino's voice spoke at the same time. Father, Naruto. Meanwhile, behind Gamamaru's throne, inside was Naruto unconscious. Both of his hands were shackled by very powerful chains that bind and suppress one's chakra and power. His legs were also shackled as well. There was a strange tag on his forehead that was keeping him subdued as well. It just goes to show how great his power was, how they were able to contain him. They were making sure that the energy that was inside of him would die along with him, and they needed to test it to see the limitations. The process will take a while, that is why they schedule execution for 5 days. However, the voices being so close, the fact that him and Violet was connected, it stirred Naruto. It stirred him into something else, something far darker. As Naruto opened his eyes, he found himself within Violet's domain. He felt the same sensation, but it felt a little bit twisted. Why, hello there, Father. Naruto spun around. When he saw him for the first time, he could feel it. You're him. The one that called me Dark. That is what my beloved sister calls me. Dark stepped forward with a smile on his face. It's good to finally meet you, Father, he said. He extended his hand, but Naruto did not shake it. Why are you doing this? You pushed me into that state. In that state, I felt nothing. So empty and so cold. All I wanted to do was to destroy Violet. I created her, that means I created you as well. If you truly are my son, why do you wish to harm me? He wagged his finger in front of Naruto's face. Not just yet, he said. My reasons. Can't stay quiet for a bit more. All you need to know is, you won't be able to stop me. There is nothing you can do. While unlike my little sis, I don't have the grasp to step outside like her. Why, said Naruto. He wagged his finger once again, with a smile on his face. Soon enough I will have it. Because you need my power. You crave my power. Because while you're using it, there is nothing to worry about. No one to care about. All you do is destroy. And it makes you feel so powerful. So why not just give in? Give in to me, he said, stepping forward. However, Naruto gripped his throat. No. There are still people in this world I care about deeply. And I won't allow you to make me unable to see them again. Naruto pushed him away, throwing him a far distance with just a push. However, all he did was laugh as he was pushed into darkness, his laughter swallowing the entire place. Naruto's eyes snapped open as he looked around as he saw the chains on his hands. He felt himself being pushed into an unconscious state. The seal on his forehead and the chains were really weighing him down. However, Naruto got to his feet. His movements caused the toads that were guarding him to step inside. They immediately chose to attack, to wrestle him down. However, Naruto felt something, and that surprised him. The next moment, there was a violent explosion. Powerful red chakras seeped out of the place. Ma and Pa moved out of the way as the giant toads moved away as well. As Violet and Ino were not doing so good, the area being too much for them, as Naruto could be seen leaping out of his confines, crashing down surrounded by the chakra of the tailed beasts that resided inside of him. There were two tails swinging behind him, and yet he was in perfect control. Naruto reached down and scooped Ino in his arms. "It's time to go," he said. Jiraiya turned to move. "Jiraiya boy!" It was Paul that called out to him, stopping him. "If you do this, you will no longer be with the toads." Jiraiya froze hearing that as he looked at Naruto. "I can fix this," said Naruto. "I can prevent all of this. You have to trust me. Please." He said, holding on to Ino, her hand slowly reaching out to him. The Sannin was struggling with the choice that he had to make. Remembering what they said, remembering what Naruto was now saying to him. He turned as he looked towards the toads. "We will fix this. I understand your grievances and your problems right now. I understand what you have to do. But once I return, you will see that it was a correct thing to do. Because having him on our side and alive is what will keep everything safe. You might not believe this now, but this is him. This boy right here is a child of prophecy, and I intend on proving that." With that, they start to run away, the toads, chasing after them after giving the order to stop them. "How the hell are we gonna get out of here?" Jiraiya said. One of Naruto's tails extended and grabbed the Sannin's arm. Naruto flew through hand sign as Jiraiya's eyes went wide. In a flash, they were gone, crashing inside of the stadium where the Chunin exams took place. As there was a few people there, they blinked in surprise and confusion. The Sannin looked around. "We're back." "Yeah," said Naruto as he slowly moved upwards. Immediately, her eyes locked with his. Ino hugged him, throwing her arms around him. She was so worried as she cried and held on to him. Violet was in there as well, screaming out that her father was okay. She was so delighted, so happy, as her power was slowly returning, no longer being crushed under the natural energy that surrounded and consumed her. They were finally back, and he was okay. Time skip. Naruto stood in front of the grave of one Hiruzen Sarutobi, now having some proper clothing after what happened, the whole debacle with facing off against the Jinchuriki and then being taken away to Mount Miyaboku, a rather stressful thing. However, he was alive and he was back home. However, at the moment, his gaze was focused on the name of Hiruzen Sarutobi. He proceeded to sit down right in front of the grave. "I guess you were right after all. I did end up doing something stupid. I created something rather dangerous. However, I also created something lovely, as Violet came to mind. And I won't allow anyone to hurt her," said Naruto. "Not to mention there's still a lot in this world for me to do. so I don't plan on dying anytime soon. But there's nothing for you to worry about. I'll make sure that this village is safe," he said, looking up into the heavens. The Sanin believed in him. The man chose between him and the toads at Mount Miyaboku. That was a big part of his identity. Jiraiya of the Sanin, the Toad Sage, literally in his title. However, when it came down to it, the Sanin chose him, and he promised that he would find a way. However, at the moment, he was not sure how exactly he was going to do it. Naruto got to his feet. However, he will find a way. Meanwhile, sitting on top of the monument was Jiraiya. The means justify the ends, he told himself. Billions, perhaps trillions, the entire known universe, beyond as they know it, would perhaps collapse in on itself if Naruto failed. The right thing to do was to allow the assassination to take place, to spare countless life. There was a lot of things in this world that he regretted, a lot of things with his own life. He had so much regrets, perhaps he would even die with them. However, choosing the kid's side, he felt none. He didn't feel any regret. He felt like he was doing the right thing, putting his trust into Naruto. He supposed his action was swayed by having just lost his sensei and didn't want to lose anyone so close anytime soon anymore. So he made that choice, and now things between him and the Toads are on the out. The Sanin sighed. As he felt something, he turned to see the elders arriving behind him. They wanted to talk. Meanwhile, the door opened up. Her name was Inukai Yamanaka. It was the mother of Ino. Inukai looked down towards Naruto with a smile. "Naruto," she said, "I'm glad to see that you're alright. Come on in." As he stepped inside, "Thank you," he said to her. "I know that it was a difficult choice to make on sending Ino with Jiraiya to come and save me," he said. "Actually, it wasn't," she said, her smile still on her face. She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Take care of my little girl," she said. She knew, fully aware, how Ino felt about Naruto. She also knew how he felt about her, just from the way he reacted and spoke to her little girl. As Naruto looked at her with the utmost seriousness, "I will." However, someone else would like to speak with him. Inoichi. As Naruto stepped inside, the man was sitting there, his face set in a cold, unreadable expression as he gestured for Naruto to have a seat. Walking over, Naruto sat down. No words were said for a long amount of time. It seems like he was waiting on Naruto to break. However, Naruto did not speak, he waited. Finally, Inoichi spoke. "My daughter, cares a whole lot for you," he said. "I'm only going to tell you this once. If you hurt her, I will come for you. And there is nothing in this world that will stop me from reaching you. Do you understand me?" he said. Naruto leaned back as he spoke. "In the beginning, she always annoyed me," said Naruto. "Always getting in my business. Always foiling my plans, especially when I was in the academy. She always got involved, stopping me from skipping out on school. But even then, she was my friend. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be here right now. I don't even think I would be alive. Her words were able to bring me out of that darkness. So if it's a question about hurting her, I would rather die first," said Naruto. Inoichi actually felt a lot more calm hearing that from the boy. As he got up, a simple gesture that he understood. was resting a hand on Naruto's shoulder as Ino came down. Seeing Naruto, she smiled. However, she realized her dad was standing there. What's going on? She asked, thinking that her dad might be threatening Naruto. Everything is fine, Inuichi said to her. Time skip. So, how do you feel? Naruto asks. Looking at Ino, Violet was still residing inside of her. To regain her full power, Violet knew that she could not defeat Dark if she head back towards their dimension, especially going back weak. However, being inside of a host, it allowed her to gather her power to the fullest, without forcefully going back to her dimension. Because Ino was linked to this world, Violet was also linked here as well, because she was inside of her, and now she was resting as her power was gathering. Ino could feel it. Actually, I've never felt so amazing, she said. I can feel her power. Just a small piece. It feels like I can do anything, Ino said, looking towards Naruto. I can't believe that you actually created this on your own. I always knew that you were smart, but this really take the cake. You're a nerd, she said to him. Technically a super genius. Nerd isn't the word I would use. As they spoke as they were walking, Ino was just walking alongside them as they made their way towards the top of the monument. So she said, now that we're all alone, are you going to tell me what it is? He looked towards her. I've known you for a long time now, and I can tell that something is weighing you down. So, what's wrong? Before he opened his mouth, she continued, and I don't want any of that crap, saying that you're alright or you can handle it on your own. I doubt that neither of us is exactly aware what is going on between us. However, things are different now. Are they not? She asks. Hopefully. Of course they are, said Naruto. It's just Jiraiya. His very existence is being a Toad Sanin. And I made him a promise that I would be able to stop this. Not to mention what the Toads said to me when I got there. I actually started to believe that maybe it was better off that I died. If I go away, all of this problem also go away. Because we're one. What is my life compared to 100 people? To 1,000 people? To 1,000,000 people? Why should I keep on existing knowing that the probability is greater against me than with me? Why should I? Naruto was cut off as Ino slapped him across the face. He looked up, holding on to his cheek. Why did you? There were tears in her eyes. She clenched her fists. After everything, how could you say that? She yelled at him. The mere thought that anything happened to you, it made me feel pain that I couldn't even understand. And now you're standing here, saying that it's better if you die. How could you say that? She screamed at him. Everything. It doesn't matter what. You've always had a solution. It doesn't matter how many times I try to mess with you in the past, you always find a way to get around my actions. It doesn't matter what challenges are put in front of you. You've done the impossible already. How can you stand there and believe that you can't do it again? You once told me that there is nothing known as a limit. That you can bypass anything that is holding you back. Why? Why would you even believe that you can't fix this? Not to mention if you went away, you would leave and I would never see you again. She turned around. However, he grabbed her hand and pulled her towards him. They were so close as he looked at her. I'm sorry, he said. However, that is how I felt. But the moment that you arrived, the moment I heard you and Violet, when I heard your voice calling out to me, that was the only thing that got me out of my slump. That was the only thing that brought me enough strength to break free. as Naruto reached out and placed a hand right on her cheek as she merely looked at him. The future is going to be hard. Given all that they've told me, it's a lot for me to take in. However, the mere thought of you experiencing pain because of my action is something I cannot allow. And you're right, I've done the impossible before. I simply have to go beyond it. And I want to do that with you at my side. You're right, neither of us know where this is going, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to start here and now. He leaned in and placed a kiss on her lips. Over to the far side, Jiraiya was there, having finally found Naruto to bring him on a mission outside the village. However, he decided to back off for this moment as he smiled, extremely proud of the brat. Time skip. Me and Naruto kiss. Ino was telling her friend, Sakura Haruno. Sakura actually smiled here and that. Finally, she said, I was going crazy watching you two fumble all over each other and not making a move. Wait, what? Ino said, looking towards her. From the moment you saw Naruto's new friend and you were jealous, I knew there was something there. As Ino started to think back, oh, so that is why when I saw you hanging out with Naruto, you left, allowing the both of us to be alone. Exactly, Sakura said. I never really knew him before joining Team 7, but we have become good friends ever since. And I can see it in the way that he talks about you. He doesn't really tolerate most people, but he tolerates you and your annoying phase. I'm not annoying, Ino said. Could have fooled me, said Sakura. So I knew that he liked you. However, it's not that he was shy. It was like he did not even know himself. Same go for you. So I was nudging the both of you in the right direction. To think, you guys pulled it off without my intervention. Well, I'm happy for you both, Sakura said. I think the both of you make a nice couple. Ino simply genuinely smiled, hearing that. Sakura was happy for them, however, she did have her ulterior motives. With Ino, with Naruto, she wouldn't go after Sasuke-kun anymore. However, as much as things has been going great, her and Sasuke has not reached that level at all, as she wanted. But Ino was a step ahead of her. So was Naruto as well. But despite that, she just felt happy for the both of them. After all, they were both her friends. Violet was sleeping, as she fell in a deep sleep, in order to generate all of her power that she had lost. Ino was more than protected with Violet, safely secured inside of her. So Naruto was confident to go out, knowing that she would be fine. It's only a matter of time now before Violet regained her full strength. Ino was more than happy to help her do so. After all, she found Violet adorable and cute. But she had to tell someone about her kiss with Naruto. So she told Sakura, as she felt all warm and fuzzy inside. It was so wonderful, she thought. Time skip. Naruto's eyes were closed as he was situated in the room of a nearby inn. Him and Jiraiya were on the quest to find Tsunade. However, at the moment Naruto was within, his mind escaped. I apologize for not coming sooner. As you can see, hopefully, I had a lot to do. Making his way, the massive Nine Tails was situated there. The beast did not say anything. I just want to say thank you, said Naruto. I could not draw upon my own sage energy, because the natural energy within that place, the backlash would have been bad. Things were already bad enough. However, in my moment of weakness, because of my tweaking with the seal, you were able to send me a lot more chakra than necessary. And you gave it to me so I could be set free. I want to say thanks. You think I did it for your well-being. If you fall, I do as well. I don't think that is the exact truth, said Naruto. After all, My life has been on the line countless times before. However, you felt what I was going through. You felt my pain in that moment. And I believe you genuinely decided to help. Your feelings over my words. How self-absorbed can you be, brat? The Ninetales said, rising up. All I did was secure my own future by not letting you die. Fine, Naruto said. However, it doesn't matter, you did save me. I was speaking to Jiraiya about the key for the seal. Unfortunately though, it's with the Toads, and they're not so good right now. However, I have done the next best thing. Until I can free you, you deserve not to be confined this much. As Naruto reached up, a strange formula appearing on his fingertips. He moved forward and dragged the formula as it spread around the room. The place started to change as the sealing formula took place. In the outside, Naruto's hand was on his stomach, turning and tweaking the seal. All 5 of his fingertips were glowing with chakra. This wasn't the first time that he's tampered with the seal. In order to create violet and dark, he tampered with the seal a lot. The fox could apply a lot more chakra than necessary, than the simple drip that his father allowed to go through in his system. However, now Naruto was causing great changes more than before. Placing in a reality warping seal. Think of it as genjutsu, but on a much higher scale. Normally, to achieve a feat like this in the outside world would be impossible, but this was not the outside world, this was his mind. Kurama watches everything change around him. The beast was free. Well, not exactly. There was a massive collar around his neck like a dog, as a kanji marking were on that collar. And there was a giant stone, an unbreakable stone that jetted out of the ground, with a sealing tag on it and the 8 tetragram formula, connecting 2 into 1. Around him was a gigantic forest, used and kept together by Naruto chakra. And seeing that they were inside of his body, it would never fade, it would never disappear. Kurama sniffed and smelled. Animals were around. He couldn't believe what he was witnessing. Immediately though, he turned his wrath upon Naruto. Thrusting forward, he slammed his palm down, crushing Naruto. Well, it seems that way. However, Naruto was in between his palm, having not moved an inch. This is the best I can do, said Naruto, overlooking what Kurama just did. I know it's not the real world, but until I find a solution to free you, I can give you this. The fox looked down towards them, his hot breath washing over him. And why would you free me, he said, knowing my crimes, and knowing my hatred of mankind and you yourself. I hated being locked up, said Naruto, not knowing if the ones I care about and love was okay or alright. I can only imagine how you felt after being confined and locked away for so long. I had no idea my mom was a Jinchuriki, nor did I focus on Mito Uzumaki being one as well. I don't know your pain. I'm not going to stand here and act like I do, because I haven't been locked away for so much years. But this is the best I can do to spare you from the confines of those bars. I'll find a way to free you. This seal is very complex and powerful. It literally has to do with death itself. But it doesn't matter. I've done the impossible before. Doing it twice doesn't seem so far-fetched. So until then, Naruto said, looking around. The fox narrowed his gaze, thinking of a lot by this boy's words, wanting nothing. Naruto started to walk away. Thanks again. With that, he was gone. Kurama rested down. Words flashing through his mind. An old man telling him that the world was not as corrupted as he believed. And there will be one that unite them all. One that save them all. Kurama gazed back toward the spot where Naruto once resided, as he was now situated in a lush forest, mountains in the far, wide area. The place was so wide, so massive. Kurama then think back to what had happened. During the process of Naruto losing his mind when dark enveloped him, the entire space of the mindscape was shaking as Kurama watched. A gold and red light appeared, and his eyes went wide. Back to reality. Kurama brought one of his massive tails over, and there was two flames situated inside of it, one yellow and one red. As he looked at them, looking back toward the spot where Naruto once was, the beast, thinking about a lot. Time skip. Naruto was hard at work when suddenly he looked up before there was a knock, feeling a sensation that wasn't normal. As he prepared himself, it only took him 10 seconds. He opened the door and looked up into those eyes, without a shred of fear. Sharingan looking back down towards him. I must say, out of all the people I expect to be beyond this door, you were not one of them. Naruto tilted his head, looking at Kisame, having seen his photograph in the bingo book that he had found in Jiraiya's stuff when he had thrown him the bag. As he headed to the room, Kisame, missing in from Kiri, Naruto said, narrowing his eyes looking towards him. Ah, the brat knows of me. Yes, I'm getting mighty famous, Kisame said, stroking his own ego. Well, I just recently found out, so I guess you're not that famous. Kisame eye twitch. You know, that little bit of praising would have spared you most of your pain that you're going to receive right now. But given that you took it away, well, he dropped his blade on his shoulder. Well, how can I help you both, said Naruto. You have jokes. Well, they're not going to help you here. Come with us. We don't want to hurt you, Itachi said. Given that you're Itachi Uchiha, the one that masters the entire clan, I think I will stay away from you for now. After all, I have no business going anywhere with either of you. Well, that's enough, Kisame said. I'll just chop off his legs so he can't run away. Kisame, wait! Itachi stopped him. Damn it, Naruto muttered under his breath. Itachi looked down as he saw the chakra. He narrowed his gaze. Kisame brought Samehata down and absorbed the chakra from the Fuinjutsu on the ground. Clever trick, brat. However, against us, those things aren't going to work. However, Naruto smirked in his mind. It's over, he thought. But he had to stop as Sasuke came rushing in. Damn it. That was just a diversion. Itachi narrowed his gaze, looking, as he noticed that there was a seal on the wall. He felt chakra behind him in the other room. The kid had done something rather quick and clever. The first seal was just a diversion, the other one was behind them. However, he stopped his chakra output because of Itachi. Sasuke shouted out. He was here for one thing and one thing only, Itachi Uchiha's life. Charging up a Chidori, he dashed forward with the sole intention to massacre Itachi. However, Itachi broke his arm and kicked him away. Having watched enough, Naruto jumped in the air, Kisame's swipe with Samehata. However, a clone poofed in. It grabbed Naruto and threw him. The clone took the brunt of the technique. As Naruto twirled, kicking out at Kisame, the man ducked under the blow. He brought his blade around to carve down into Naruto's back. However, Naruto smirked and swapped places with a clone that was situated inside of the room, covered by a simple Fuinjutsu illusion. When the attack slammed into his back, he did not poof away. Instead, His skin became red as his body melted into pure chakra. It flooded onto Samehata. Kisame's eyes went wide in confusion as the blade started to behave unnaturally. Samehata started to rash out. The bandages exploded off. Samehata got large, extremely so larger than Kisame has ever seen Samehata before. Its mouth started to salivate. It started to break. Its scales breaking off. It was being heavily affected by what Naruto clone did. Naruto used the opportunity to leap forward. Kisame though was much faster it seems. The problem was Samehata came down with such a force that Kisame was pulled down. Naruto shattered his nose. The brutal kick snapped his head to the side. Kisame was docile, staggering back getting a full blow from Naruto. However, he was much stronger than Naruto thought. Naruto's intention was to kick his head clean off. However, he couldn't afford to risk using the Sage energy, with Violet still out of commission and Dark roaming out there. However, Naruto's base strength had drastically increased to shatter Kisame's nose and dazzle him. The effects of what Naruto did was causing the clone chakra to go haywire. It was basically an implosion of chakra from the inside. Samehata absorbed it all. The sword would recover. However, in the process it was having trouble stabilizing its own chakra force inside of its core, causing it to expand and lose a bit of its mortal sentience. Everything was going haywire. Naruto wasn't done yet though. Pushing off Kisame, Naruto placed a tag right on his chest. Bringing his hand up, instead of exploding outwards, it exploded inwards. Kisame was thrown. He burst right through the solid stone wall, his body creating a giant trench. While the explosion did not show outwards, it was an inwards explosion that attacked you from the inside out. Puking up blood as he crashed on the ground, Kisame was a mess. The simple cut that took him off guard was enough to damage him this greatly. Hearing Sasuke scream, Naruto dashed towards him, running straight towards Itachi, who turned. Their eyes met. It was over as Itachi was about to place Naruto under a genjutsu. Naruto staggered as he came to a stop. Itachi was confused though as he saw the boy chakra. Perhaps he was trying to fight off the genjutsu, but that wasn't possible. But he saw the chakra swirling inside of him. Naruto snapped his head up and spit something. A winged bullet. Itachi tilt. It tore across his cheek. Itachi was shocked, confused as he gestured back. Naruto did not stop as he released several dozen winged bullets. They erupted and tore through the entire hallway, forcing Itachi to give some room between the two. Confusion marred his face, not understanding why his genjutsu didn't work. He had come to rely so much on it. He never expected to be countered that easily. However, at the moment, it wouldn't work because Naruto's eyes might seem normal, but they were not. His eyes were clouded by chakra. He couldn't see a damn thing. What he was going off of was something much different. He placed seals on his body that became a sensory view. Once you were in his range, he could see you, but not your features, but your chakra structure. However, his eyes seemed to be normal, but that was just a hallucinatory seal that made his eyes seem focused, but they were not. Knowing that he was going up against someone of this caliber, especially with those powerful eyes, he's seen what Kakashi can do. Imagine a true Uchiha. Therefore, Naruto activated this the moment he stepped outside, so no genjutsu could take over his body at the moment. As for trying to pump your chakra into his system, after all there was multiple ways. This seal was more harmful than most. It allowed him to harden his chakra. To be so powerful that there was no illusionary feat that could pierce right through it. Granted, Itachi did not possess the amount of chakra Naruto did. The problem was, with hardening his chakra, the side effects could be deadly if held too long. So this was not a permanent seal, as Naruto had to release it. Because if he did not do it properly, it could shot back in his system and end his life. But he was not fighting against any normal foe. Making his way, Naruto checked Sasuke's pulse, and he was alive. That is when poof! Arriving back on the scene was none other than Jiraiya. The man's eyes locked. Itachi knew that he had to flee, and he did so immediately. Kisame was picking himself up. A huge hole was in his stomach area, near to his chest. Unfortunately though, Samehata had recovered and was slowly healing him, but despite that, he was still coughing up blood. His body had been hit internally. He felt ashamed, humiliated, to be done so by a child. A child of all things. It was a humiliation that he couldn't live over until he rectified that mistake. Unfortunately though, they had to leave. Itachi was truly impressed. Fuinjutsu was becoming a lost art in the elemental nation. The only things that people used nowadays were explosive tags or barriers. But this brat has been able to excel that to a level that none other is capable of. The mere notion that he was able to disable any genjutsu, well, smaller caliber, because he did not went all out, having no intention of truly causing the boy death. But still, Itachi was impressed, and he does not say that lightly with most people. Seeing Sasuke again though, stirred feelings inside of him. As both him and Kisame fled. "It took you long enough," said Naruto. Jiraiya stood by his side. "Is there something you want to tell me?" Naruto asked. Jiraiya gazed out as he turned back towards him. "Yeah," he said. Meanwhile, within Dark's dimension, he was sitting down as usual. This time though, something was happening. Something rather unholy surrounding him. Bathing around him was a different kind of darkness. This was not the power that Naruto had when he lost control. This was strange, more twisted and dark. Slowly, the darkness merged together and formed something. Dark got to his feet as he smiled. Massive footsteps could be heard within the void, which was rather confusing seeing that this void seemed to be a space, not exactly within the control of time and space itself. Therefore, the fact that this thing was actually causing this amount of force trembling, whatever it wasn't normal. But guys, to be in subs right here. If you want to see next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.